Hi guys, how are you all this evening? Hope you're all well. Welcome to Paranormal Shadow Investigations. We have a little treat tonight. We have the lovely ladies from the, I can't even say it. How do I pronounce it, Matt?
Equilibrium.
That's it, Equilibrium. Collective. Absolutely stunning girls. I'm going to bring them on. First we have the lovely Kerry and the lovely Sarah. Hi guys, you all right?
Hello.
Hey.
Are you all right?
Yes.
I can't say it either. I really can't. I've had to like shorten it to echo.
It's like when people go, oh yeah, that's phenomenal. I can't say the words.
No, I can't. Do you know what it was? Equilibrium is it's predominantly a psychological word, and it means balance, a good balance of everything. Yeah. So that's why equilibrium. But yeah, it is. It's like word porn for me.
Yeah,
that's what it is. I love it. But yeah, echo is just as good though, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah. Well, I thought we'll call you now.
Yeah, please. Yeah. Honestly, that's teamwork. I love that echo.
Oh,
Definitely.
so we got a few viewers in with us tonight. We have Laura Jane.
Hiya.
We have the lovely Sandra. Hi, Sandra. Nettie Nettles. Hi, honey. Who else have we got? We have Tracy. Not staying for long. Lovely Lulu. Hi, Wayne. How you doing, mate? Lovely Nettie again. Karen. Hi, Karen. She's one of our team members. And Andrew. Bless him. Always there. Always there. So, ladies, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourselves and what it is you do? And introduce yourselves.
Sarah, do you want to go first?
Okay. Okay, so I'm Sarah. You might recognise me from Fables. I
From
joined
Paranormal Shadows, you've been doing readings as well, so a lot of
that as well. Yeah, Paranormal Shadows, of course. I get about. What can I say? So I joined up with Kerry to form, we'll say Echo, because I can't say it. And we have quite a few plans. Kerry?
Yes, we do. So I'm Kerry Ann, and I have been in the paranormal now for about 10 years, give and take. I took some time out. I am a psychology graduate, so I had to take some time focusing on my dissertation and all that kind of fun stuff, soul destroying stuff. So I kind of took a little bit of a step back, but I write for Living Paranormal magazine. I am currently trying to write for SPR as well. I'm trying to get a little journal note put in. I like to research, and I'm a massive fan of experiments. I love them. And yeah, so Equilibrium or Echo, it was actually created about 2 weeks ago. It is. It's a new concept that me and Sarah have kind of put together, and it's impulsively, which is always the best way. I mean, the way we met was very impulsive as well. So we're just rolling with the punches at the moment. But our first step was like, oh, should we start doing live streaming? I was like, yeah, okay. And from that, it's now, we need a team. So that's what we're doing next, is focusing on kind of building ourselves a little a team that we can kind of work together and do the things that we want to do, which would hopefully put great stuff in the paranormal field. You know, maybe not equipment, which is amazing. The live stream last night was fantastic. But maybe information that could be shared, or, you know, research that we might be able to conduct ourselves. So that's the long-term goal. But as we're now live streaming.
Kerry, let's start with you. So what brought you into the paranormal? What made, what sort of inspired you to want to research and do stuff within the paranormal field?
So for me, it started with a bereavement. My granddad passed away about 10 years ago, a bit more than that actually now. Time goes so quickly. And I started to go to spiritualist churches. I really loved the environment, and I decided that I wanted to sit in circle, which is what I did with my teacher, Christine Connolly. I sat with her for a while, and in that time I got to understand the impact of energy. And SNU mediums are predominantly a physical mediumship, not completely, but it is a spiritualist is type of religion. They have the Arthur Finney College in Stansted, the Hogwarts. It's amazing. My teacher kind of like, she helped. I'm not quite sure her involvement, but she was, quite with the teachers and stuff. So she used to bring stuff back to our circle, and physical mediumship is amazing. I love trance. I love transfiguration. I like spirit horns. I like, anything that can be objectively seen. I'm a big fan for it. So that's what started me, because obviously paranormal research, the best way, or not the best, but what we would hope for is objective, results. And so that's what kind of brought me onto it. Was an obvious lead from the physical mediumship to actually let's bring the science in as well. So that's what led me to investigate, and then from there I had fun, went to different locations. I was a ghost hunter. I just wanted to, go out and just look for ghosts. And then my interest got, bigger, and I started to look at more at the energy level and started looking at things like the Phillips experiment and the Skulls experiment. And then my psychology come in and just blew the whole lot out of the water. So I'm still trying to figure out where I am with that. Yeah. So that brings me up to date.
Thank you, Sarah.
Well, I think I might have mentioned it on a previous PSI live stream, but I have always been quite sensitive. I have Romany heritage. So yeah, I think I was sort of like thrown in at the deep end, really. I had experiences when I was younger. I saw my granddad. I could feel my brother, and just I could just always pick up vibes, and I never quite understood what it was.
Yeah, I get that.
And I'd know things without knowing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense.
You're just claircognizant. Eat your heart out. So then I ended up looking into tarot cards, oracle cards, and of course I also watched a popular ghost hunting program back in the day. I think we all know which one that one would be.
Yeah.
And then it developed from there. I then started practicing witchcraft. It just sort of that was it.
Awesome. I think a lot of people, I found with a lot of people, when we talk about paranormal now, they started up, that a lot of it for them was they were getting their sort of new stuff that wasn't sort of that other people didn't know, and they sort of come true, and then they'd have dreams, and they sort of and things like that. And I think that's what done it for me as well. Obviously I see someone when I was a lot younger, and I just felt different and realised I was sort of different. I was always been wacky and mental anyway, but
comes with the territory.
Yeah, I was gonna say the best of us are, so don't worry about it. We're all weird around here. It's fine.
And I do get a lot of people still laughing at me, but you know what? I say to them, you need to come out and try it for yourself, because you don't understand. There's definitely something there. I mean, Matt, he was sceptical, wasn't you, to begin with, when we first started out, 20 odd years ago, and now he'll say there's something there. There's something definitely there, and he loves it. It's a passion, absolute passion. So I think we have some questions already, ladies. Let's have a look. Is Echo?
What? Yeah.
What is Echo offering in streams?
So it's multifaceted. We like to think that we'd be able to offer. Actually, we have some things booked up in the next couple of weeks. So what we would like to bring is interviews with fellow paranormal researchers, investigators, and ghost hunters. We would like to talk about topics that are relevant or maybe not in terms of current research or investigations. So, talking about equipment, talking about different methods that aren't usually used. Like, for example, we spoke about the singing bowl being used to raise vibrations, different ways that energy can be manipulated. We would also like to cover products, things that are coming out, things that are coming up, events, locations. We just really want to be like a little bit of a bit of everything kind of thing. At the same time, there'll be streams where we just discuss a topic that we enjoy. So it could be a historic haunting, it could be a historic location, it could be a mystery, it could be cryptology. Or we could be able to, bring in researchers or professionals in the field. So in the next couple of weeks, we obviously have next week our interview with Paranormal Shadow Investigations. So Shelley coming on next week, so we get to interview Shelley.
That one. He's
and
joining.
Matt, yes.
Yeah, he's joining. Make sure.
The following week, after we speak with Matt and Shelley, we have Daniel Moss from the Haunted Hunt currently have got a new season coming out on Pick TV. And then the week after that, we have David Saunderson, who is the creator of Spooky Isle, who's fantastic. Have you been to the lectures that he's done? I went to the he does lectures, he does tours. Yeah, so I went to the Harry Price one he done at the SPR, the College for Society of Physical Research. I think I've said it right. So yeah, so I hope that kind of gives an insight of how broad we are, but how relevant we want to be still. So yeah.
Are you on Facebook or just on YouTube at the moment, ladies?
We have our Facebook page called Equilibrium Paranormal UK. It's currently going through a name change, but we do have our Paranormal Collective YouTube as well.
Awesome. Last night was very active, Shelley. Yes. Sorry, guys. Yeah, it was really active. We are going to go back. I had to leave last night. Honestly, if you could see my legs, I've been bitten all over. Matt's been bitten in a not so nice area that a man should never get on. He's been in agony all day. But he'll get over it. He's a man. But yeah, we'll definitely be going back there. There's definitely not a lot there to offer, but oh my God, that's a long old walk. So I'm in no rush. So we have John Bothwell who says, shall we arrange a group for this subject to meet up? Do you know John?
No, sorry.
Want to meet all of us. Okay. John, not sure who you are or where you come from, but send us more info and we'll look into it. He's also said he's loving this. Bless your heart, John. You're very welcome and glad you're here. Loving the dog picture, bombing Sarah.
Guaranteed. On the dot. Every time.
So Paige has also said you should look into doing a podcast.
That is something that we did previously, but platform-wise, we decided, I'm speaking for both of us at this point, so sorry, Sarah.
No, you go for it.
But after discussing, we definitely decided the live streams was the way forward. But you know, as we develop our team, something we want to do is like create our team. As we develop our team, then, you know, if there's someone with the know-how on how to do that, then that's something we can look at going forward. But yeah.
Also, Andrew says, what do you think of psychometry to read for someone? Question to all ladies.
Sarah, did you want to answer?
There's so many different ways that you can read for someone. I think it really comes down to personal preference. I've never done it myself. However, I have seen it done and it can be done very well.
Yeah, I agree. I also think that you've got to, it's personal taste, isn't it? It's whatever you think you're more comfortable with. And I feel that as you progress, I mean, I've tried all sorts of things and I think, yeah, again, personal taste, I do agree. What about you, Carrie?
I actually really love psychometry. I find it's a great way to create a link. I find if I find it really difficult to read someone, you know, sometimes people have an idea of who they want to speak to. They want to speak to Granddad John and don't want to hear from anyone else. And people don't understand that it's a path. You've got to get from the garden gate to the front door. So you have to go through these little gates to be able to get to Granddad John. And I find psychometry sometimes, you know, jewelry, especially if you've got to change from energy to energy as well. If a second person comes in and says that they want to read in, you know, yeah. I found when I first started, I used to read photos. Same, yeah. I used to read photos. Yeah. I used to have a lot of success with photos. Yeah. I found that I think I used it sort of to build up my confidence, and it might be a way for you to go, Sarah, you know, to help build up your confidence. Whenever you tarot cards, just someone will send you a picture and you just read off it. And that built my confidence up. Yeah, I still read. I'm still learning. I'm still, you know, I still consider myself as a fledgling practicing really. So I will read photos, and but then I do think that you never stop learning anyway. So
Never,
so,
never.
yeah.
Someone
So
always comes with new ideas and new phone
yeah,
ways of
yeah,
doing things. So, and I
it's
think
true.
as well, I think since social media come about, 'cause different countries as well and different cultures have, and different religions have ways of doing things. So you can kind of incorporate what you're doing with theirs and come up with this new fandangle thing, and it just works.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, I'm with you with that.
yeah, definitely. John said, "Sorry, ladies, I believe in you guys, and I a driver." Thanks, John. Not a problem. Don't have to say sorry, my lovely. Not at all. Rob says, "Do you have a certain location you want to investigate more than any other in the future?"
Shall I go first? Oh, go on, Sarah. Go on.
I would like to go to Toys Hill in Sevenoaks because I haven't been there yet.
Okay.
Shell,
Speak to me. Speak to me.
tell us the way of your people.
I've been there. Didn't pick up a lot, to be fair.
No.
Haven't been back. No. Nice
So
place.
I've driven past there, and I was getting some vibes. Put it that way.
More the castle around the corner, I'd say.
Right.
When I was there, I didn't really pick up a lot. Normally, like last night, we went to 2 different locations. The first location we got on, that we couldn't really get into, I weren't picking up nothing. And as soon as I got down to where we was last night, my head was buzzing. And unfortunately, Toys Hill was one of them places where I walked in and was like, no, nothing here, I'm going.
Not for me.
No, you may go and pick up something completely different. It all depends.
This is it. Different people, their energies mesh differently with different environments and stuff.
It didn't have with me at the time, so it could have been a mixture of anything, couldn't it?
We will see. We will see.
Definitely. What about you, Kerry?
I've spoken about it before, but definitely Leigh-on-Sea. Leigh-on-Sea in Essex is a fantastic. It's not just a location. There's so many parts. It's multifaceted, multi-layered. So there's lots of where it's such a small town. There's so many places on top of each other. You have the Dunking Pool. You have the really historic church that's not too far. You have the dock of old Leigh-on-Sea, the cockle shed. Everything's still there. So the cobbled roads and stuff are still there. It's amazing. So like I said to you,
live stream, we're coming up for a weekend and we're going to get you to show us around. Absolutely.
I shall. I'll show you around town.
And you could be our special guest on our lives for the weekend. How about that?
I would love that. Absolutely. Yeah. So much fun.
With equipment.
Oh, bring the Ouija box. Please bring the Ouija box. Please. I would love to have a go. Definitely.
Absolutely. Luke says, what type of team do you want and why?
I think personally, me and Sarah probably have different ideas of what we would like to achieve as a team. But I think that discussing those together, we've kind of married them quite well. Me personally, I would like to have a serious research team. I would like to strip things back and go full Harry Price. I know the guy was a little bit eccentric, and a lot of his research you can poke holes in until the cows come home.
But researcher though, any researcher you could do that.
Well, I went to a lecture for Rosalind, the case of Rosalind, which was about this. Yeah, and in Harry Price's notes, he said that he obviously done all the baseline checks and kind of put everything in place. He needs to do, seal the windows, doors, everything else. Made sure there weren't no draft. Switched all lights on, so they refused to have any lights on. And in it, he says, "Yes, Rosalind manifested herself. She was real. I could feel her pulse." At that point, I was like, there's something wrong here, because ghosts don't have pulse. So there's a few things in the talking mongoose as well, the one that you missed when he went into town. But what he did do was he gave us the fundamentals of our researching equipment. He gave us our basics, and he gave us our critical thinking as well. So I would love to do a full-on Harry Price, old Victorian style investigation.
Awesome.
Once things, yeah, definitely.
So what's your opinion? And you can be completely honest. You haven't got to be, because it's me talking and my husband makes it.
No.
I want your honest opinion. What do you think of, phone apps and spirit boxes? How do you think? So
when phone apps first come out, there was so much controversy about it. Yeah. At the time, it was when you had the two camps. There was only two people that had made apps that had been successful, and you had the two camps, and they were just going at it, and they each have followers, and they literally would tear chunks out of each other. Yeah, it was horrific. It was a really horrible situation. Yeah. So we, as a team, we avoided apps, but then also we had always been told never have a phone on you during an investigation, because it can manipulate and aggravate the equipment. For example, a K2. If your phone was to go off, it will interfere with the K2. Yeah. So that's what it was installed in us as investigators, not to use them. However, obviously, when I've spoken to Sarah about the uses of your apps, I also understand that technology changes over time, and that if this was a problem, it would have been rectified by now. So I would never say not to use apps. I would say do your research and make sure you find the right app that gives you the right, the right kind of evidence that you're looking for, and that you can work well with, because in that way, like you said, you become in tune, don't you, to what you're listening for. But I'm yet to use apps. That doesn't mean I wouldn't use them. I definitely would.
Well, Matt sort of had this theory, and he kind of tested it, that when we started first making apps and boxes and everything else, he would try these out, and he would do sessions and he wouldn't get nothing. I would walk in the room and boom, it would go. He believed it because I was a medium.
Yeah.
And he was a non-believer at the time, so he kind of believed that it might have been because he was a non-believer and I was a medium. Do you think that can affect how a spirit would communicate with you using these?
I personally think that it's not spirit. I think it's the person, and because I don't obviously know what Matt was experiencing or what happened when you walked into the room, so I'm making these opinions based on not what you'd experienced. But I truly think that if you have a non-believer, I think that the person themselves can dispute in their own head things that have been going on, and then if you have a believer, I think you're more likely. In fact, I was talking about this in I've recently written an article, and I'm talking about the ancient fear system. And in part of it, we have this critical thinking as a we have a duality between our critical thought and our spirituality. And I think that if you are more critical, you're less likely to get evidence, not because it's not there, but because you're not seeing it.
You don't want to hear it. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I took the long way around with that answer.
No, I agree, because I've said this before. It's like someone who's got a lot of fear. 9 times out of 10, they won't believe. They'll tell you they're non-believers, not because they don't believe, but because they're scared to go out and find out.
Yes, I agree. Definitely, I've experienced it. It's usually men.
Tell me about it. Do you know what?
Always men.
Do you know what? I was actually saying this the other week, where we've had we've run events and we've got this little lady come along, and she's got a stocky, great big husband, and it's like, so what have you come along for tonight? Oh, I've just come because she's dragged me along. I don't believe in nothing. Within a couple of hours, he's like, I'm going home. What this shit?
Oh, really? Oh no, that's amazing. I do like it when that happens.
So do I. I love proving them wrong. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially when it's a proper geezer.
Yeah.
Ladies, James Martin asks, what is your best paranormal experience and why? Each of you.
Kerry, do you want to go first?
Yeah. So I would say I went to a private location. It wasn't so much a residence, but yeah, it wouldn't want me to really disclose. And we had direct communication, and it was intellectual. We was using an SP spirit box. Shelley, what are they called?
PSP7.
That's it, teamwork.
One of them.
One of them ones. We was using that, so we had a lot of interference, like the kind of radio, but we were having intellectual conversation with a spirit. Now, this location was kind of like smack bang on a high impact situation, like it had happened. So you obviously got stone tape theory straight away. You're going to think about how that energy is then going to be underneath as well. We had to bear in mind was a power room that powered the whole building. So all these things we had to take in consideration. We had tapping, we had knocking, we had footsteps, it was literally the best night. The only issue is we could never go back. We only had that one opportunity to do it, and it was fantastic. It was amazing. Lots of photo anonymies come up in the images, which was really great. And the mediums on board had a field day. So that was my best experience to date.
Cool, Sarah.
So I haven't actually gone out ghost hunting, as it were, but experience-wise, as I mentioned before, I've seen my granddad. At the time, I was like 6, and I genuinely thought it was my dad. And then when I asked my dad about it in the morning, it was like, no, I didn't get up. It's like, oh, okay. So there was that. I've also had visitations from deceased pets. The latest one and the most regular one being my Monty. But I've also, again, for me, it's my experiences are more the claircognizance, the random messages coming through, and I don't know where they've come from, but they make total sense. You know?
Yeah. I think mine was when we was at a mental asylum. Unfortunately, it's not there anymore, but we investigated. And us girls were in a room doing a spirit box session, which was freaky enough. We had some guy saying, you know, he wanted to hurt us, but he couldn't hurt us because we were too powerful and all this stuff. Matt had gone wandering off. And as you know, with Matt, he's very logical. If something's happening, he'll look for the logic, and all of a sudden I've heard this cry, like scream, like deadly scream from Matt. Of course, I've gone running because he doesn't scream. He was like, and he was like, hey! So I've gone running. He stood still in the middle of this hall. He's got a camera in his hand. And I was like, what's the matter? What's the matter? And he said, oh, my God. He said, I've just stood here. He said, and it's like a human-shaped mist had slowly started coming towards him from the other side of the room. And then all of a sudden, as it got close, it just darted straight through him. And he got it on camera. And I was like, oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Do you still have that?
Somewhere. We've got so much footage. Yeah.
Find it.
Yeah. Honestly, and it's probably one of the first experiences he ever had, but we checked for, whether there was mist about that night or anything, but he said it was a human-shaped mist. How often are you going to get that inside a building? There was no reason for that mist there was no way for it to come in, where we was and everything. He was quite freaked out, which freaked me out because Matt's so logical, such a logical thinker, so for him to freak out was, yeah. Aurelia Eric says, what was the worst experience when making contact have you had?
My experience isn't paranormal. My experience was we were making contact and we was in this wood, and I was with Danny Lee, who is one of our guys. Danny Lee is I probably come up to Danny Lee's shoulders, and he's skinny as you like, and he won't be offended by that. But I'm a big girl, so we're standing in this woods, and we're doing a EVP session, I think it was, or it could have been a spirit box. It was one of those. So there was 2 people talking, and at the corner of my eye, I could hear this like rustling sound. So when I've looked, one of the other girls went, "It's okay, it's just a rabbit." So I was like, okay. So then we're standing there again, and I, crap you not, this badger shot out at me. I grabbed hold of Danny Lee. I literally was about to bay. Badger croquette was what was going to be happening. I was using Danny Lee to beat the crap out of this badger. I didn't. No Danny Lees or badgers were harmed during this process, but it scarred me. It ran across my feet. So yeah, that was my worst one. But poor Danny Lee, I could literally wrap my arms around him, and he was like, "Your nails." Crazy. So yeah, that was my worst experience. That literally has haunted me forever.
Sarah?
When I was younger, it wasn't exactly like I said, I've not actively gone out paranormal investigating or anything like that. But when I was about 16, 17, I had my first bout of depression. You know, being a teenager, it happens. And I ended up with an attachment. I had a negative attachment that was doing everything possible to keep me in that mindset. And it took a good 18 months to get rid of.
How did you know it was an attachment? Can I ask?
Because it would not go. It was constant, and I'd get physical sensations, which you could argue could have been anxiety disorders or anything like that. But it would be very often of a night time. Very often, mostly it would be when I was alone. But it did happen. I had a few experiences when I was with other people, and I'd see it in my peripheral as well, and even see it sort of like appearing around doors and stuff, and it was really scary because at that age I was just like, oh my god, what is that? I don't like it. But no, after doing my own spiritual and personal development, I managed to release it away from me. So
Bless you. Luke asks, what sort of experiments do you plan on doing?
Excitement. Just, I would love to be able to do some variations on what is I keep talking about it because I love it so much, the Phillips experiment. I want to be able to not so much search for the paranormal research. I just want to know about the fundamental factors of those looking for ghosts as well, and how that impacts. We all know that our anticipation and expectation, we can manifest what we want to happen. In the flip side of that, I've been in a situation, particularly with Danny Lee, where he was able to flatten the energy quite straight out because he had the raging ump. He shouldn't have even come that night. He had the raving ump, and and he just, we was getting quite good stuff, you know, before he turned up, and it just went completely flat as soon as he turned up. So if that is the case, then I want to know how much. There is a guy called Konstantin Karatkov, and he does research on energy and how energy, like how sacred places can impact a person. You know, people that put a lot of energy into a place, how sacred places can impact people, but then how a person can impact a location as well. So that's things I'd like to draw on and do, you know, kind of really
trying to get that as well, Kerry, because going back on what you said about the, you know, negative people, you know, we've done a lot of events, and one particular night in this sort of it stays with me. We was doing a pub up in London, and it was absolutely dead. And there's this one woman, I think they'd had a bit to drink beforehand. We didn't even realise until I spoke to her. But she's sitting at the table and she's like this.
Yeah.
You know, I'm bored, I want to go. Anyway, I've clocked onto it, so I walked over and I said, "You all right?" She said, "No," she said, "I'm bored, I want to go." So I've had enough of this bullshit. So I just looked at her and I said, "You know what? I think you need to find yourself a taxi and get yourself home." I said, "Because I think you're blocking for everyone, because we never had a thing." And she was so, do you know, the minute she walked out that door, I'm not joking you, it went mad. Yes. Everything started going off. The spirit boxes, we had a full, I mean, we've even got the video up of the viaduct in London. You can see the video. And we was having full on conversations. You know, it was so relevant to where we was. And the things that were happening. It was mental. It went absolutely mental. So I completely agree with you. I do think that people with negative, can't be asked attitudes, they block.
Yeah. And I do believe as well, people that want paranormal to happen. For example, we had a situation where someone wanted to hear from their loved one. They wanted to. Now, me personally, I don't necessarily feel that the time, the place for that is a paranormal investigation. So I'm aware that it happens, and sometimes I'll allow it to go. When I say allow, obviously this is when it was the team that I was helping or I was with. I'd let it go on for so long, but then obviously emotions get involved and stuff like that. So I would often say, look, this isn't the time or place. If you'd like to speak to one of the mediums afterwards, you're more than welcome to, but we're going to have to say thank you and let them, step to one side. But this woman was adamant. Laura was in the chat room. Laura was with us that night, and this woman was adamant that, a loved one was coming through, and even I could hear that it wasn't them. The vibe wasn't right. The frustration was that, no, you're not hearing me. That's the vibe.
Yeah.
So, but she wanted it to be that so badly that she was able to convince the people in her group as well that it was.
But even then you find that on these events, people go on these events, they know absolutely nothing about. And I do get really annoyed with some of these event companies, because we've been on a couple of, different ones. And I used to work with one, which I'm not happy with. But, with these events companies, you get a lot of people that have been bereaved. They want to go and they want to communicate, and they'll believe absolutely any crap they're told. And I find that so frustrating.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I love evidence. I love it. And if it is someone's loved one, then it's nice. But I do believe there's a time and a place, and I believe that sometimes a little bit of maybe you can talk to one of the mediums afterwards, but this wasn't even the case. This wasn't even a loved one. It was a spirit that was attached to the location, having a quick chit chat, saying things, and she was like, oh, it said this is what it said, and it's like, no. But so I have that side of things as well.
Okay, Eric said, what is the Phillips experiment? Can you just explain?
So the Phillips experiment is an experiment that was conducted in the 60s, 70s. It was in Canada, and basically it was a researcher that believed that ghosts didn't exist. So what he did was he got a group of 10 people and he put them all in the room. None of them have any prior experience of the paranormal, was sensitive, nothing. What he'd done was he got them together and they'd meet once a week for a year, and they developed a person. Now, this person was called Philip. He was a noblesman. He had a wife. He lived in England. They even put down to where he lived. They even managed to get artifacts from the home that they said that he lived in to bring into the room with them from England into Canada. Basically, the story was that he was married, but he had a mistress, a traveller lady, a gypsy lady, and the wife found out and managed to lure her to the top of the building and pushed her over the edge. And then he killed himself. So this is the story that they gave him. But what happened in the end was they were actually able to communicate and have intellectual responses with an entity that claimed to be Philip. From table rappings to noises to movement, everything. So what he said was that he was able to find that ghosts aren't real, that they're a manifestation of our own intellect. However, there is another experiment called the Skulls experiment that kind of flips that on the head by using the same fundamentals. So basically does the same thing but says something different. But the reason why I like the Phillips experiment so much, even though I believe that spirits are real, I'm a believer, the reason why I like it so much is because it was innovative at the time, and there wasn't a lot of research happening around the paranormal side of things other than debunking mediums. So it was a different approach. It was that's the Phillips experiment.
No, that's cool. Awesome.
I could chat for hours about it. Sorry.
Yeah, so could I. But we've been on nearly 45 minutes. Any more questions from the viewers? Has anybody? What's Luke said? Oh, here we go. Go on events to scare the shit out of each other and try and contact family. Yeah. You can hear what you want to hear and then convince others. Yeah, I'm a great believer in that. It's like when you're doing a live, it's very difficult because obviously we hear and I've been on lives and I've said things, and then I've got back home and I've heard something. I've definitely heard, but it's not quite what I heard when I was out. And that's why I ask people to put headphones in and listen at home, because they could hear something completely different to what I'm hearing. You know, when we're out on a location, it's really, really difficult. So, hi, Joanne. You're right, love. So, yeah. Oh, sorry, just clicking away here.
That's okay.
Yeah. So, are you looking to do events or just paranormal investigating, Sarah? Are you going to get out in the field at some point? I know you're going to come out with us one night. I ain't got a choice.
Yes, no, I'm definitely in. Where, as Kerry mentioned earlier, we are looking at building a small team, so that we can. But we want different people, different perceptions, if you like, so that any evidence we do have, we can look at it from different angles as well. So obviously I'm into the metaphysical things. So
I think it's hard though when choosing team members to be able to find someone you trust 100%. It's like
absolutely,
being comfortable with people that you can trust 100%.
Absolutely,
you know,
yeah.
Paranormal and you guys doing experiments, you've got to be with people that you have 100% got to trust.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. So it's going to be quite a long process.
But I do want to say, girls, you know, if you ever want to do an experiment and you're looking for people that you can trust, give us a shout. You know, we'll always be.
Oh, definitely. Oh my God.
Yes, that's going to happen.
We do love a good experiment, don't we, Matt? So, you know, if you want to try it out, and we're available.
Maybe what would love to do is do a Harry Price type investigation to see how it holds up against a tech investigation. So maybe a 2-day investigation using different methods.
Okay. Yeah, no, we'd be up for that. Definitely. Luke Davis said, Kerry, what's your views on demons? Well, he's going to start me off, and he does this all the time. Go on, Kerry.
Okay, so I believe that the media has saturated the paranormal field with negative entity. So that the first thing that people do is like, it's a demon. I believe there is entities other than humans. I believe in elementals. I believe in that. I do. I think that demons are just a spirit that's a bit more of an arsehole than normal people.
And Luke knows for a fact that about a year ago, the Church of England actually said that they came up with demons many, many years ago, and all the crap about how to make people behave themselves.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
And I believe that there is evil spirit, don't get me wrong, because I think you're evil in life, you're going to be evil in death. You know,
that's exactly, yes.
But I don't believe there's a little red man walking around Volms.
No. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to be proven wrong. I don't want to be proven wrong. But at the same time, no.
Can I add to that?
Go on.
Because I do believe in demons. I think they're very few and far between on this plane. This is getting into the esoteric stuff. But I'm a big believer in different levels of consciousness and different planes and stuff. And I do believe that entities from other planes do come through every now and again, but I don't think they're as common as some investigators make out.
No, and I don't think as well I think using the term demon is kind of losing its power, the word.
Definitely.
Because it's being used so much and so often.
Luke says, my personal view is that negative person was so grumpy in real life, he's now a grump in afterlife. Well, Matt's going to be a demon then.
Life goals.
Yeah, you got that right. Yeah, I agree with you, and I do. I mean, I'd like to be proved wrong. I'd like to be proved wrong, but I've been in investigations where I've had things come through, say Satan, and we're demons, and I'm like, do your best.
But they play on it. They've got a conscience all their own.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, well, if you're really Satan and you're going to do what all these people believe you can do it. And I'm still here.
Exactly. They play on your fears. They are very aware of your fears, and so they're going to play on that to get that reaction from you.
But then I think if you're a negative person, again, it's all about negative feeds negative.
Yeah.
Absolutely, 10%. If you're a negative person, and I think this is what you were saying earlier, when you've got depression or something like that, I do believe that you can get a sort of a negative entity, and I do believe very much so in negative entities. But I've yet to see. I mean, it's like poltergeist. Everyone naturally assumes that poltergeists are evil. They're noisy ghosts. That is it.
It's like to bang and crash and move stuff.
A lot of them are just attention seeking, and it does happen. I do believe in poltergeist. I do believe in them being able to move stuff. I've seen it with my own eyes. I have seen it with my own eyes.
So
I can't explain it. It's paranormal. I can't say it's spirit, 110% spirit. But to me, I feel like they're just trying to get my attention. They couldn't do it by shouting at me. So now they're trying to, well, actually, I'll get your attention another way. And they've even used my children to try and get my attention. They've done that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Go on. Do you think it's possible that poltergeist could be a manifestation of, or could it be a projection of energy, like telepathy? Do you think there's, I'm not saying all, but do you think there's a possibility?
I absolutely 100% agree with you. And I need to test this theory because people are going to go, oh, it was just coincidence. But this is just one thing that's happened. And there's quite a few things, similar things that have happened. We were driving along the road one day and we got cut up by this little arsehole. Literally, I had the kids in the car. And I was fuming. I was like, I hope your fucking car blows up. I was really angry because we nearly swerved into the side, and we was going 60 miles an hour. It's a 60-mile-an-hour road. And we're going up the road and literally 100, well, I don't know, I'd say 500 yards up the road, we've turned this corner. The car is in a lay-by in flames. But I was so angry. I cannot explain my anger that day.
Law of attraction.
That's just one instance that's happened.
Yeah.
Other stuff's happened as well, where I've had the power, what God knows where it's come from, when I've got angry and literally and people go, it's fucking crazy, but it's true, literally got the strength, all of a sudden the strength and the energy to literally throw a fucking grown man across the floor, across the room, and I mean literally across a room, so yeah, absolutely, I believe in mind. Your mind plays a big part in it. Parts of your mind that we'll never know about. But absolutely. I would like to test that further, but I don't know if I get that angry.
I was gonna say, I don't want to get that angry.
That could explain sort of like obviously with the whole witchcraft thing. You're practicing manifestation, using that law of attraction, using that power of mind to bring something or make something happen.
Yeah, and I think. I mean, Uri Geller is the perfect. I mean, a lot of people fake, but he's a perfect man because we've seen him what he does. People have watched him with our own eyes. I used to love him, whether it's fake or not. I wouldn't believe it, so don't say nothing against him. No. But it's true though. His theories make sense when you think about it. It makes sense. And anger is such a powerful energy in itself. We just don't understand what we could do with it.
Yeah. And especially if you look at stone tape theory, it might not be anger that's put that there, but it's a high emotion situation. So if something can leave an imprint like that where it will replay itself over and over again, then that's the power of your manifestation of your emotions.
It goes somewhere, doesn't it? It goes somewhere.
Yeah. Because when I'm doing my own craft, I correspond thought with air. Because what is thought other than a form of energy? So that it makes sense for that sort of thing, like a thought to work up activity in a place that nobody would have assumed was haunted.
We've done that.
Have you?
Yeah. Well, we have you ever heard of an EM pump? EM pump.
Yeah.
one, and we all sat around a circle. We sat there for hours and hours and hours and hours, and we built up. We got a way where we just build up the energy. All of a sudden, batteries started getting drained, and I think they started getting really annoyed with me. And all of a sudden, the energy's just come from nowhere. And again, we sat there for so long, and this is what I say: paranormal investigations. People think you're going to go, and it's going to happen. A lot of the time, there and then. But sometimes hours to build up the energy and really get. 9 times out of 10, it's because I feel that if you're getting a really old spirit and they start hearing this noise, they're going to be like, bloody hell, what's that? They're not going to know what you're using. So, you have to explain it all.
That's it.
Yeah. We've used clapping before.
Use what?
Clapping to build up energy.
Laughter. Well, laughter's fantastic.
Yeah.
Me and Luke are normally the clowns that make people laugh. But we find that really, really helps.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I do agree.
I'm mad now. I would love to be proved wrong by a demon. Yeah, you and me leave Matt alone. And the Baphomet box ain't summoned no devils yet. This is true. This is true. What else? Luke. He's on one tonight. Right, so Andrew says, I've had 2 Victorian women banging, sweeping brushes on the floor at me. They were saying, go away, you don't belong here. Ooh.
Interesting.
I'll get you angry. No, you won't, Luke. You're not that brave. Well, to be fair, they are cleaning with brooms. I think we've got some jokesters. Oh, here we go. So, I was doing my friend's ironing. She was in the room next door. We were chatting away when I thought she stood in the doorway as I thought I heard her walking along the corridor. I turned and looked up, expecting to see her, but no, it was a figure of a man in a white shirt, but didn't see his face. But I just know it was a man. Friend was still next door until I screamed. Yeah, it's quite common.
Talking about the no face, I had this experience. I was in a different country and I was in a new build and I was staying with relatives, and my daughter had got up and said to me that she had a dream about a girl with no face. But before she did that the night before, there was a girl in the corner of my room. She was wearing a white gown, she had black hair, she had her back towards me, and when she turned around, she had no face. I've never come across it before in my life. So is that something? Is that a thing that I'm missing?
Do you know what? It's a new one on me, to be fair.
I just put it down to maybe I'd been a bit tired, maybe too much sun, maybe loads of different reasons. And then when my daughter said she'd had this dream with the same person, I was like, okay, because I hadn't said anything to her. Really strange. No face. And it scared me because she had no face.
Yeah. I've heard of that. I'm sure I was reading an article not so long ago, Matt, in that Paranormal magazine about that, weren't we? I can't remember what it was now. Well, I'm going to look that up because that's.
Please do. Yeah.
A new one on me. But I wanted to speak to you briefly. Sorry, I've got to rush off, girls. I wanted to speak to you about children. Only because I've had a lot of experiences with my son as a child, and we talk. Sorry, especially indigo children. And I wanted to sort of get your opinions on. I know what I think. What I thought went on, but I'd like to know your opinions.
I'm an indigo. My daughter is a rainbow, and from day dot, she was seeing stuff. When she was a babe in arms, she used to look at me, and then she'd sort of be staring over my shoulder. She's seen shadow people. She's heard someone call her name and thought it was me, and we were standing right next to each other, and she's like, "Mum, did you just call me?" I was like, "No." She's like, "You did, you just whispered Lola." I was like, no, I didn't. She's like, oh, it was probably a ghost then. She's 7, by the way.
I can go up with it, though.
But yeah, she's gifted. She's gifted.
But do you think that children have to be naturally gifted? Because, you know, I get messages all the time from worried parents saying, my son or daughter is talking to somebody. You know, they're talking to somebody in the corner of the room.
I don't think it's anything to worry about myself.
And the thing of, what they call them, they're make-believe friends, you know, they're
imaginary friends.
Yeah. My daughter had one for years, and as soon as my youngest, all of a sudden he started talking about it as well, Emily. So yeah, and then I had a reading done, and she said, "Oh, there's Emily, a little girl called Emily here." So, but for her, my daughter would say to me, "Oh, can Emily sleep over tonight?" Like it was a thing for her. She would. Yeah. This is her friend, you know. But it got to a point that she was getting older, and I said, "Oh, you've not spoken about Emily anymore." She was like, "No, she's upset with me because I won't play with her no more, so she don't talk to me no more."
Oh.
So I kind of get that because my daughter, she had this. It was Luke, that wasn't it? His name. This boy called Luke, who she played with and she spoke about all the time. And her bedroom was his bedroom, and my bedroom was mum and dad's bedroom until they died. And he didn't. And then she sat downstairs one day because obviously I just let it go over my head. I didn't really support. Oh, probably imaginary friend, you know. My children are a bit like the mum. She came downstairs one day and I had a friend there who's also a medium, and she's sitting there. Kaylee's walked in, she sat on the sofa, and I went, all right. She went, all right. I said, where's Luke? She went, he's not coming down, he won't see you. I said, why? She went, because you can make him go.
Wow.
He don't like you too because you can make him go. And that's when I knew.
Yeah.
I know. You know, for her to say that, because at the time, you know, we was into ghost hunting, we was, you know, I was looking into mediumship, and, you know, we'd gone quite a way. So I'd done a few blessings. I'd looked into that, and it was just the way she said it. And she was only about 4.
Wow.
Yeah, you can make him go. I said, I don't want to make him go. She said, well, he don't want to talk to you.
Oh, trust issues.
Yeah. Yes.
So what do you think about you know, about that? And children.
I think children's more susceptible.
Yeah. Do you think they are? I
think all of us as children are more susceptible, and I feel like the critical thinking comes in. I think we all are, even at our age we are now.
Do you think we close off as we get older? Do you think
critical? Yeah. Our critical thinking and
I think ego has a lot to do with it as well.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. I think education teaches us differently. Like even if you look at religion, say, you know, talking to the dead is a trick of the devil. So from a young age, people, when you think about mainstream, we're taught, you know, that there's no one there. There's no such things as ghosts. There's nothing scary. There's no, you know, and then if you're religious, it tells you that, you know, it's not ghosts that are there. It's something more sinister, and it's not. If you think about it, I know I'm completely going off track, but we had the Witchcraft Act until what, 19, well, Helen Duncan Smith was the last person to be.
We was talking about that the other night, weren't we? 1970s. No.
Yeah, it was.
Was it? I can't remember.
It weren't, you know, it was a lifetime ago. So, and we're still in that time. So I think everyone's susceptible to it. I think children are more likely to do it because they've still got that magical thinking. But as we get older, I think that, ego and critical thinking, education, religion, it just gets drummed out of us.
Yeah, absolutely. At what point in a child's life do we feel they are likely to lose the connection? And is it due to being conditioned by parents, elders? Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
I think it is.
I think religions have a lot to do with it as well, structured religions.
Even holidays and, you know, for example, St. Patrick's Day. You know, when you talk about St. Patrick's Day, it's a day that even if you're not Irish, you get involved with. But if you actually look at St. Patrick's, the snakes weren't snakes, they were witches. They were driving them out of Ireland. So if you look at things like that in our culture, our history, and the stories that we tell, the evil is the ghost. The evil is the otherness. The normal is not to do these things. So I don't think it's just elders. I think society. I think it's everything. I think it's our culture. Everything is, you know, yeah, it impacts us.
A lot to play in making our job a lot harder, isn't it? With one
Yeah.
form or another.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so exaggerated through these scary horror movies to make it sound, you know, Ouija board is a perfect example of that. I mean, when Ouija board came out, it was made as a child's toy for children to play with. And then Hollywood got hold of it, and it's something that's going to make your head spin round, you know, and you're going to go off and kill someone, or you're going to kill
Yeah.
Just having kids does that.
that's why we get the Ouija board. I'm joking.
Ladies. Hello.
Hello.
All right, Luke.
This is Luke, Kerry.
Oh, we've spoken.
This is my troublemaker.
Yep, we've spoken.
I'm not going to disagree with that.
Me and him get told off for misbehaving all the time. We're just trying to build energy. They don't understand. Right, so we got Helen who said, my mum went for a reading and took me in a pram. She was told I see things and to beware of it. Yeah, I do. I think a lot of children. Oh, Andrew just said, sorry, ladies, have any of you got in a room, dog in a room growling?
No.
No, I don't know where my poppy's gone.
Kitchen. My dog's in the kitchen. Well, no, my dog's down there, but she's not growling. She's fast asleep. What's that? Disney Coco is amazing film for kids. So remember past family. Busy. Oh, that's cute. That's cute.
I love that film, Coco. I love that film. It's amazing. And there's a song in it that makes me cry. And I think it's so poignant. And it's he sings the song to his grandma. And he basically is saying that even though you're not aware of me, even though you don't know who I am, I'm here. And it's because the grandma's got dementia and stuff. So it touches upon real. It's a great film. But yeah, that song, even talk about I want to cry. I love that song so much.
Bless you. Well, you know what? I think I've kept these ladies long enough. I want to thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm really looking forward to dragging Matt on Thursday. And he's looking at me. Okay. He's got no choice.
We're looking forward to having you. Thank you for having us as well.
He's smiling. He's smiling. You guys are welcome anytime, you know that. And, you know, maybe we'll like I said, we'll get together in the future and, you know, do some stuff.
That'll be amazing.
I really want to come to people on Athletics. So
you're welcome anytime.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. So just before we go, I just want to tell people that one day this week I am doing a live on my own again. I am doing a lone live. Yes.
So be prepared for Shelley to shit herself.
That one I won't miss.
Fine. I'm not going to the woods this time. I'm not that stupid. Maybe a graveyard. Who knows?
Oh.
We'll see. But yeah, I'm doing a lone live one night this week. Girls, we will put the link up to your pages.
Thank you.
Matt said, where can we find them? Can you send them all to me?
Yep, that's absolutely fine. Yep, definitely.
Send them all to us, and he'll put all the links up. I've got them somewhere, but it's easier if you send them to him. You're friends with him on Facebook, Sarah?
No, I don't think we are.
All right, well, just send them to me and I'll forward them on.
Right, okay.
I want to thank you, girls. I think you've got a great future ahead of you. Absolutely. I love the way you think, Kerry. You know,
thank you so much.
You're very level-headed, and it's going to be interesting watching you grow. Absolutely. And if we
thank you.
You know, we're here. That's what we do. So thanks again, ladies. Stay safe. Thank you to everyone that watched us tonight. We will be live again. We need a couple of nights off because we've been live 3 nights in a row. Everyone might be getting sick of us. We will be live one night in the week. Currently at work. Okay. We will be live in the week. We'll be doing a lone live. We'll be joining these ladies on Thursday night, wasn't it?
9 p.m.
We'll also share that on our page so you guys can tune in and watch that. They'll be bringing Matt, not me. Remember that, guys.
Wait.
Once again, it was absolutely lovely to speak to you girls, and I can't wait for the future. So take care of yourselves, girls, and take care of everybody. Thank you very much. Love and light.
Bye.
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 Hang on.